G'day folks, welcome back to the channel. In this one we're going to talk about charging again. And one of the things that I've always found absolutely astonishing is the fact that at the same time that governments are pushing for electrical grids to go all renewables towards solar and wind and unreliable renewables, at the same time as we're doing that and we're getting rid of baseload and dispatchable generation, we're forcing everyone to drive EVs, which is putting an additional strain on the grid. I mean, you couldn't have planned it worse. Let's make our grid less resilient, but at the same time make people drive EVs. And one of the things that I've said in the past is that actually running an EV charging station is an incredibly tenuous kind of business because the margins are so thin due to the cost of electricity. And there's an article that we're going to look at today from Autocar which exactly highlights that point, that it's very hard to make a profit from EV charging stations. But firstly, there's another article which I'll link down below from Zero Hedge, which talks about how difficult actually getting a charging session working actually is. There's so much software, so many different protocols between the charger and the EV that many attempts at charging fail. In fact, almost a third, nearly 1/3 of EV charging attempts fail, report finds. A newly released report by Charger Help shows that while 64% of Americans now live within 2 miles of an electric vehicle charging station, nearly 1/3 of charging attempts fail. Despite charging infrastructure showing 98.7 to 99% uptime rates, only 71% of charging attempts actually succeed, according to the 2025 EV Charging Reliability Report. The report analysed more than 100,000 sessions across 2,400 chargers. The report argues that instead of focusing on site uptime statistics, the first-time charge success rate, FTCSR, provides a more accurate measure of the driver experience. Uptime tells us if a charger is available, but it doesn't tell us if a driver can actually plug in and get a charge on the first attempt, said Camille Terry, CEO of Charger Help, in an interview with FreightWaves. First-time charge success captures the real driver experience, and by centering on this metric, the industry can close the gap between availability and usability and build the trust needed for mass adoption. Well, there's always going to be problems with EV charging because of the nature of EV charging. The fact that you've got two computers essentially talking to each other, it's a lot more complex than just sticking a nozzle into a gas tank and pulling a lever to start a pump. It's always going to be harder. It's always going to be more susceptible to software glitches and bugs than just filling up at a regular gas station. When you've got to obviously have a multitude of apps, all the different providers have different apps that you need to download in order to charge your car. It's just so cumbersome compared to just pulling up at a fuel station, whacking in the nozzle and filling up.
If you're enjoying this video and want to help eradicate the EV and net zero mind virus, please give this video a like and click that free subscribe button down below and enable all notifications so you don't miss out on any future videos. And if you'd like to support this channel, head over to the MGUY store where you can buy some awesome anti-EV merch to annoy your local EV zealot. Or if you prefer, you can make a small donation at Buy Me a Coffee. Links to both are in the description, or you can scan the QR codes on screen. Now back to the video.
And not only is it an unpleasant experience for the EV owners, it's also an unpleasant experience for the charging point operators because they are not making any money out of these charging stations anymore. And that's hardly surprising given the fact that electricity is becoming so expensive thanks to the fact that we're relying more and more on unreliable renewables instead of reliable dispatchable baseload synchronous turbine generation. And this article from Autocar explains this perfectly. Grid costs preventing public EV chargers from turning profit. Operators questioning viability of big charging hubs after hike in standing fees. the growth of the UK's EV charging network could be stunted by significant and unexpected cost hikes that mean many charging hubs aren't currently turning a profit. Ian Johnston, CEO of charger operator Osprey, told Autocar that we are nowhere near profitability because of skyrocketing electric grid costs. Dora Clark, Osprey's head of external affairs, said that standing charge paid by the company for a typical hub in the Midlands with 8 chargers had increased over the past 3 years from £99 per year to more than £8,600. Osprey operates 56 such hubs nationally. Osprey is not alone in facing this problem. According to a new report published by EV charging body Charge UK, standing fees have increased by 462% for rapid charging hubs, those whose chargers put out 50 kilowatts or more, and 389% for slow charging hubs, sub 50 kilowatts, over the past 2 years. That's astronomical. Charge UK attributed the hike in fees to energy regulator Ofgem's targeted charging review, which means businesses now have to pay for the capacity of the energy they could use rather than what they actually draw. As a result, charging companies are penalised for building new hubs that are rarely used to their full extent, said Charge UK. Well, this is another issue that I've talked about on many occasions, and that is the fact that if you want to double the speed of charging, or you want to double the number of cars that are charging, you need to double the electricity supply. You need to double the capacity of the pipe, if you like, that serves the charging station. With a regular petrol station, you've just got a tank, a hole in the ground basically. Doesn't matter how many cars come into the petrol station, they can all be served at pretty much the same rate. They can all fill their tanks in about 5 minutes. But if you've got 2 cars instead of 1 at an EV charging station, or 4 instead of 2, every time it doubles, you need to double the capacity of that pipe, that connection to the grid. And you're going to pay for that, even if it's not being used all the time. These charges based on capacity of the connection are going to kill you every single time, which is why these charging hubs are just not profitable. And of course, the only answer is more government, i.e. taxpayer, money. Multiple charging firms have told Autocar that high operating costs are hampering their ability to lower the price of charging, which could make public charging more accessible and drive up EV adoption. A key issue alongside electricity costs is tax, so government support is needed, charging companies argue. General Manager of BP Pulse, Valerio Ferro, said, "What could drive the price of fast and ultra-fast charging down? It will never compete with home or street charging. If you think there is VAT that is 20%, it is 5% for home charging. You have standing charges, which went up 10 times, and now there are talks of putting business rates on top. So there are lots of costs which are slapped on us that we have to deal with." Well, it's just the mechanics of EV charging, of charging a battery, that makes this uneconomical. Basically, it's the physics. As always, it comes down to the physics and the engineering of this. You need to have a big pipe connection to the grid in order to serve a large EV charging hub. And if you want people to be able to charge quickly, then you're going to have a massive connection to the grid, which is going to cost massive amounts of money. There's just no getting around this. It is an obstacle based in the engineering and the physics of battery charging that you're never going to be able to get around. It's just another reason why battery EVs are just not the solution to this problem. They're causing more problems than they're solving by many, many times. All right, that's it for this one. Thanks very much for watching. Really hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next one. Bye for now.
Thanks very much for watching. Really hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any tips or stories, go there. If you'd like to watch another video, go there. If you'd like to buy me a coffee, go there. And please subscribe to this channel.